In this block, we have two units. Unit number 11 is information technology, means the laws related to the information technology, means that is a new media related laws and codes and ethics, values, all this will cover in this unit. Unit number 12, that is advertisement and law. So what steps need to be taken while giving an advertisement, all this will cover in this unit. Coming to the black one, we have in this black we have three units. Unit number 1, salient features of Indian Constitution, and why Constitution is we need to know the topics which are related to media, because as a practitioner we must know the basic concepts, basic articles, basic rules, regulations which are imbibed in the Constitution. In generally, American Constitution, there is one act, there is one article which is freedom of press, that is article number 19 in American Constitution, whereas in Indian Constitution there is no particular act related to the freedom of press, but there is one article, that is article 19 of 1 of A. This article guarantees freedom of speech and expression. Under this article only, as a journalism student, we must be let us discuss about the salient features of Indian Constitution. Unit 1 explains Indian Constitution and salient features of Indian Constitution, emergency provisions, fundamental rights, directive principles of state policy, freedom of speech and expression, and also some limitations. Here, and one more concept is that is a PIL, public interest litigation. We will discuss all these in this unit. India, generally, India is governed on the basis of the Constitution. Indian Constitution is the supreme law of the country, which lays down the structure and principles which define the fundamental political principles, procedures, powers, and duties of the government system. These directive principles are incorporated in Part 4 of Indian Constitution, and these are the guidelines or principles given to the central and state governments to be kept in mind while preparing laws and other policies. Coming to know about the Indian Constitution, the Indian Constitution of India is the world's lengthiest written constitution. It also describes and sets out fundamental rights, descriptive, directive principles, and the duties of citizens in the country. It is described as a permanent living document which makes the government system work. Finally, the constitution is adopted on November 26, 1949 and coming to force on January 26, 1950, which is now celebrated as a Republic Day. What are the salient features of Indian Constitution? Mainly, we have a written constitution, means that is a lengthy written constitution which is written by B.N. Roy and the directions of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the architect of the Indian Constitution. There is a, it took some time, all these are general points we are aware about the written constitution, and we have a 104, 106 amendments also made in this constitution in this 75, 76 years, 77 years of independence. One more salient feature is a combination of rigidity and flexibility. Here, first category means amendment can be done by two houses of parliament with a simple majority of the members who present and voting after before sending it for the president's assent or acceptance. Number two category is amending the constitution requires a special majority and it can be passed in each house of parliament. We have two houses in the parliament, that is one is the Lok Sabha and another one is the Rajya Sabha. By majority of the total members of the house as well as by the 2/3 of a majority of the members present and voting in each house of parliament, and send the president for acceptance, which cannot be denied. And the third category, which in this category, the special majority mentioned in the second category, the same has to be approved by at least 50% of state legislatures. Means, for example, Telangana State Assembly, Tamil Nadu State Assembly, Andhra Pradesh State Assembly, like that, more than 50% of assemblies need to be accepted. Then only it will become amendment. There is these three kind of categories for amending any act, any article, or whatever it is. And another thing is that this is a federal policy. So India is a union of states. India has adopted a federal structure of government. In a federation or federal government, there are two distinct levels of government. One government that is the central or unit government, and the powers are distributing among the both. This is one important for the sovereignty of India. And another one is fundamental rights and fundamental duties, which are incorporated in our Indian Constitution. Our Constitution guarantees fundamental rights, which are included in Part 3 of the Indian Constitution. These rights include right to equality, right to freedom, right to against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, culture and education rights, right to constitutional remedies, and right to education. These fundamental rights are covered under Article 14 and 14 to 32 of the Indian Constitution. There is also duties were added in the Constitution by 42nd Amendment in the year 1976. There are 10 fundamental duties which are recommended by Sardar Swaran Singh Committee. So we have some duties also. Next, another important means sailing the future. Good future, one another good characteristics of the Indian Constitution, that is a parliamentary democracy. India is a parliamentary from a democracy. In a parliament democracy, there is a close relationship between the legislature and the executive. In the parliamentary democracy, the head of the state is nominal, and in our country, the president is the head of the state. Either maybe union, generally we call it is a nation as a country. In general, statements here is not a what we are now thinking about the state like Telangana, Andhra Pradesh. That is, state means nation. The president enjoys abundant powers, but in practice, the Council of Ministers, headed by Prime Minister, which really exercise these powers, and president implements on the advice of the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. And another feature is integrated single judicial system. India is a single integrated judicial system with the Supreme Court at the apex court of the judicial system. The High Court in all states are below the Supreme Court, and these high courts control and supervise the lower courts. There is another feature, that is a independence of judiciary. The judiciary system in India is independent and impartial. It is free from the influence of the executive and the legislature. The judges are appointed on the basis of their merit or qualification. That is we call it is a collegium. And every citizen of single citizenship is included in our constitution. There is only single citizenship in India, which means every Indian is a citizen of India, irrespective of the place or resident or place of birth, can secure employment anywhere in the country, and they can enjoy all the rights equally in all parts of the country. Another important point is universal franchise system, means voting. The Indian Constitution provides a universal adult franchise. Anyone who has completed 18 years of age, irrespective of caste, creed, religion, has a right to vote in a general election and choose their representatives by voting in favor of them. There is also some provisions which are included in the Constitution. The emergency provisions are included in the Part 18 between Article 352 to 360 of the Indian Constitution. The President of India has the power to impose emergency rules in any of Indian state or all states. When the government could not be able to run the government, then to cope with such situation, the Constitution provides emergency provisions. There are three types of emergency provisions. That includes first one is emergency initiated by war, external aggression, or armed rebellion, and the second emergency arising out of the failure of constitutional machinery in states. That is we generally call the Article 356. This also popularly known as the President's Rule. It is also known as a state emergency or a constitutional emergency. And third one is a financial emergency caused due to a threat to the financial stability or credit of India. During the emergency period, the central government becomes all powerful, and the states will be in a total control of the center or central government. This kind of transformation of the political system from federal during the normal situation to unitary kind of governance during the emergency. Next, we need to know about the fundamental rights. Already we have a little discussed about the fundamental rights in the introduction page. They are right to equality and the right to freedom. In the right to freedom only, Article 1 of the freedom of speech and expression. This is very much important for the journalism students. And there is also restrictions. You must be know about the limitations of what expressions that is mentioned in the Article 19 of 2. So we must be aware of the Article 19 of 1 of A and the 19 of 2 also. And another right is right against exploitation and right to freedom of religion and cultural and educational rights, right to constitutional remedies. All this in general it is right to education, right to property, all these are laterly included. So all these are we known in our early studies, means in the degree and in our school social studies, we know all these rights, all other important characteristics, features of the Indian Constitution. Now, this unit is mainly devoted to the particularly about the Indian Constitution, principles, duties, freedom, rights. All these are mentioned. We have some directive principles, Article 36 to 51, which each article means, for example, Article 37. That is the principles contained in this part. And Article 38, state to secure a social order for the promotion of the welfare of the people. State means here the country. There is from 36 to 51, we have articles. Each article is saying some about the judiciary responsibilities and state and central coordination, and which one comes under the state purview and which things, which elements, which funds will come in the central government purview. All these which are mentioned. Now coming to discuss about the freedom of speech and expression and limitations. So freedom of speech, already I have discussed article number 19 of 1 of the of Indian Constitution. Freedom of speech and expression is defined as the right to express one's views, convictions, and opinions freely by using words of mouth, writing, painting, pictures, any other mode of communication. So there is also some limitations. We must be known about the limitations under this Article 19 of 2 of the Indian Constitution. Some reasonable restrictions are laid down on freedom of speech and expression. Dear students, if you have any doubts, you may raise your hand and ask me any question. Otherwise, you may chart in the chart box. I will explain you. I will read it and explain you. Now coming to discuss about the limitations. Under 19 of 2, Article 19 of 2, there is a limitations. Those are the reasonable restrictions. Those are, number one is it will be not affected. So your writing or painting or print or expression should not be affect the sovereignty and integrity of the country. And also our security of the state, means India's security. Number one, we have some foreign friendly relations with the foreign states. Even though we could not write, we could not draw, we could not paint against our friendly countries. Another one is limitation is public order. One more is decency and morality. Decency and morality. One more is defamation. We have defamation. There is a two types of defamation: libel and slider. All this we will discuss in this course book one by one in a detail. We have one unit against of this defamation. One more is the content of court. This is also one unit we have in this course book. We will discuss a detail about all these limitations. And one more limitation is incitement to an offense. Our writing, as a journalism students, our writing should not be incitement to do an offense, right? Then in this unit we have one more concept, that is a concept of PIL. What is PIL? Public interest litigation is a litigation for public interest. A PIL may be filed by an aggrieved party or another or a third party, or it may be introduced by the court itself. That is, we call it is in general it is a suo motu. PIL means a litigation filed in a court for protection of the public interest, which includes terrorism, pollution, road safety, inland protection, etc. The PIL is being filed in various areas, which includes violation of the basic human rights of the poor and content or conduct of a government policy or scheme, pressurize municipal authorities or to perform a public duty. And another one is violation of the religious rights. One more concept is violation of the fundamental rights or any basic rights. So Article 21 of Indian Constitution guarantees the citizens in the country the right of life, which integrates all the rights of the people, and when any violation are taking place in the interest of public, a PIL can be filed in a court. So dear students, so far in this unit number 1, this is a general basic details which already you know in your degree level, even though in the school level also we have social studies. So all these about the constitution and all these basic principles, rights, and all these we have studied in our in the basic level of the schooling. So in this unit, I will round up in this unit. The Constitution of India is the world's longest written constitution. It is the supreme law of the country, and it also describes the sets of fundamental rights, directive principles, and the duties of citizen in the country. It is described as a permanent living document which makes the government system work. Dear students, if you have any doubts, you may ask me. Otherwise, I will wind up here in this unit. In the tomorrow's class, we will come with another unit, that is media laws, especially what we need to focus on the media laws. Some technical issue here is I am concluding this session. Tomorrow we will continue with the new units. Thank you very much, dear students.